Hello, welcome back to the Midlands Outdoors channel, back with another video today. Join me as we go and explore the outskirts of Birmingham Airport, the scenery and much more. I'll tell you what, this is a lovely place. This is the outskirts of Birmingham Airport. I believe this is the country park to where we are. There's quite a bit of information and history behind the airport, what I'll tell you later. But you can just sort of see what I mean, the scenery from the entrance from where we come from. So I believe this path takes us all the way to the viewing point where you can see the planes. But before it does, it brings us to where the railway goes above. But it's absolutely full of nature over here. It's actually one part of Birmingham that I've never been, and I've always wanted to come to see the planes at Birmingham Airport. When my granddad was alive, he always used to talk about the planes, bring up this application on his phone called Flight Radar. He was very passionate about the planes he's seen in the sky and several bits and pieces to do with aviation. That's pretty much why I dedicate this video to him, because it brings back memories to me when I used to talk about these kind of things to him. I always used to love going to Cosford RAF Museum. I've got a really big interest in planes myself. And just at the moment, we've got a plane going right away there, check that out. I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely so excited. I mean, seeing that really close. I've always wanted to come and do this. So let's go and explore the land and let's go and see what we can see before we get to the airport viewing point. Some really lovely scenery over here. Let's go for a walk. So I'm definitely correct. Right away in front of me, we've got the railway where it goes underneath to meet to the other side. Just before we head there, just onto the side is called Hatchford Brook. If I get a careful view for you, I mean, you can sort of see that brook running from that angle all the way under the railway bridge itself, just over to there. I think it's really cool to see that just before we journey over to the other side of Birmingham Airport. But the smell of sewage here is really bad. You can smell it really horrible here. But I mean, as we journey all the way through, it does make you wonder how old this really is. Possibly dates to the 1800s, because I have noticed just by the side, bits of brick are actually missing. It's in sort of a very poor state. If I view from that angle, you can just sort of see what I mean, right away to where I'm pointing up to there. There's bits of cracks in the walls. Look at that for a view though. I tell you what, it's really nice to see this before we journey that way. But I can't wait to see what the other side's got to offer. I believe the perimeter of the airfield's actually quite big. I mean, the Hatchford Brook runs through to Birmingham Airport. It goes right away through to it. You can sort of see that from the Google Maps. So I think by judging of it, the Hatchford Brook goes to the side of the runway. I think it tunnels right away underneath, as evidenced by the Google Maps one more time. Then meets to the other side, where this like little nature reserve area expands to the further corner. I bet you could spend hours over here, not just viewing the planes, but scouring the sides of the Birmingham Airport. You can sort of see where it runs now, then meets around in the loop, then goes into that tunnel. So it does actually end there. So I believe this is actually where the viewing point is. It might be over there. So let's go and journey and let's go and check this out. During the years of 1939 to 1945, the airport known as Elmdon Airport was officially opened by the HRH, the Duchess of Kent, on the 8th of July 1939 and was owned and operated by Birmingham City Council until the outbreak of the Second World War, when civil aviation ceased and the airport was requisitioned by the Air Ministry and used as an elementary flying school and fleet air arm by the RAF. It was also used for flight testing and as a delivery base for Sterling and Lancaster bombers. During this time, the Air Ministry built 2 hard surface runways, 2,469 feet and 4,170 feet respectively, to replace the original grass strip. During the post-war years of 1945 to 1961, still under government control, the airport reopened for civil flying on the 8th of July 1946, exactly 7 years after the official opening. The city of Birmingham took over responsibly again in 1960, and in April 1974, the newly formed West Midlands Metropolitan County Council took over the airport, which incorporated the 7 metropolitan areas of Birmingham, Coventry, Dudley, Sandwell, Solihull, Walsall and Wolverhampton. In 1949, scheduled services began with British European Airways to Paris, and flights to the continent steadily grew with services to Zurich, Palma, Amsterdam and Barcelona, starting between 1955 and 1960. So here we are, Birmingham Airport. There's the runway right away over there. And just at any moment, planes will be coming back and forth from time to time. I believe this section to where we are is where the planes actually land. And if we stay here for a few hours, with much luck, we'll get some really good views of planes. And that's what my plan was today, to come to Birmingham Airport and see all the planes come back and forth. Well, let's go and see what we can see further down, where there is a bench, and we can sit here and get some fantastic views. I mean, look at that. So right, here's the first plane taking off. There is actually a runway where the planes actually land right away in front of me. So just at any moment, we'll get a really good view now of this plane coming forward. Here we go, I think it is picking up a bit of speed. You can sort of hear the engines coming this way. There we go, there's the plane. I think it's actually a Ryanair if I'm correct. Might be wrong though. Let's see what this actually is. But there we go, it's taking off. Right, the activity stopped. I looked at flight radar. I don't think there's anything coming for a good couple of hours or so. So what I'm going to do, let's go and explore the other side of Birmingham Airport, just around that area. Then we'll come back to the viewing point. Hopefully a bit later on, it really quietens down so we can sit on the benches over there, where we'll get some more cinematics and various bits and pieces for the airport. We might get our zoom camera out and take some cracking photos if anything's taken off. So let's go and check out and see what we can see. It's a really interesting place. Wow, absolutely lovely. The sounds of wildlife over here are really amazing. I think it's really cool though how nature was taken back on the outskirts of Birmingham Airport. I mean, seeing the history earlier to do with all the aviation and bits and pieces, and I read out about the pre-war, especially to do with the Lancaster bombers, that was really amazing to read. But several bits and pieces what really do date over here. But it's nice to still see that the land around it is reclaimed by all that nature. Perfect for a nice walk. Even if you're not a plane spotter, it's always a nice place to come to see the scenery. But then basically seeing that odd plane come right away overhead. But really lovely in the sunshine. It's got to be touching 18 degrees today. So I'm undoing my jacket because I'm absolutely warm. But right, one problem, because we've had so much rain, the paths over the nature reserve part absolutely muddy. Gonna get really dirty today. But what I'm trying to do is to see where this even leads to. But there is actually a side viewing point where the outskirts are, just onto that corner. I phoned my nan earlier and she said that in the buildings in Birmingham Airport there is actually a viewing point there, but I've heard stories that it's actually gone. I'm not too sure, because if it's actually still there I might see about doing a video on that one, but I'm not too sure. I need to do more research behind it. But it's mad to think that this actually used to be called Sheldon Airport and now it's actually Birmingham Airport. I mean, but for short terms people call it BHX, so it's sort of similar. It's actually an airport code name, what's a bit more shorter. If we go over this way, this actually takes us to the side where we can view more of the airport. But you can sort of see the scenery, it's very boggy. I mean, there is some paths over there leading right away into the nature reserve. What I'm going to do, head over here, let's get some nice cinematics. Wow, got another plane, it's actually a propeller one. So right, here it is. This is the side of the airport. Not as great a view as the other side though, but I guess if you walk this, it will take you to the main airport buildings. There is a sign here saying Birmingham Airport Limited, airside area, no public access. Members of the public who breach this restricted boundary will be liable to prosecution under the Civil Aviation Act of 1982. It says there about the airport bylaws made under the Airports Act 1986. So I can imagine if you went right away into the airport, you will be left with a hefty fine. It's mad to think how boggy this area really is. You can sort of see more of a nature reserve side now. All the water, what's all filled. Probably for the amount of rain what we've had tons over the last few days. It's going to be non-stop all week. And that's what I mean with walking, it's very boggy to go farm fields, woodlands, several bits and pieces. I've just noticed the Hatchford Brook runs from a tunnel section, like I mentioned, then goes under the runway. There is evidence here because we can sort of see where it actually leads from. So there it is, you can sort of see where it leads from the airport. The Hatchford Brook runs right away close to where the runway is, then tunnels right away underneath. Obviously you can't get drone footage over here because it's against the law, but it would be cool to see what's on the other side, viewing right away above. I did wonder about this brook, whether there was any protection to stop people from wading it and getting to the other side. You can sort of see they've placed all these barriers there to stop that. So you can imagine the airport's got to have so much security to stop people from breaching into the airport itself. But an amazing place. Let's go and see what else we can see over here. But the views are absolutely massive. You can sort of see how big the runway is. It's obviously got to be a massive size so the planes can get at a certain speed, then take right away off. I mean, right away in the distance, we can sort of see the airport buildings just served back over there. Tons and tons of cars with a big massive radar tower spinning right away to the top. But right, I always wondered what this place was called. There's actually a sign here saying Sheldon Country Park. So that's actually what all this landscape is around the perimeter of the airfield. Got a sign here saying Old Rectory Farm, which is pointing this way. Not too sure what's over there. And then we've got the airport viewing area just for where we come from. I think what I'm going to do is take this turning and see where it ends up. But it's amazing over here. I definitely think I will come back in the summertime to do part 2 because the land is so massive. We're only going to explore certain sections today of it. I mean, because it's getting all the way back to Birmingham, then all the way to Hell's within a certain time frame. But it's just stunning. I mean, not what I was expecting. All the footpaths all flooded, leading further that way to where the airport is. And my feet, I'm absolutely soaking wet. I can just see some buildings over there. I think we're coming closer to some other section by the side of the airport. I mean, this way we've got all the housing estates with a big massive field leading right away in front. But there is a sign over here, so I see where we're going and what's a little bit more further on. I think it's definitely that old rectory farm. But I mean, we can sort of see this section leading right away there with a little bridge with the brook leading right away underneath, then to the other side. Wind is really picking up now, you can sort of hear it. It's got to get to 40 mile an hour. We've got a storm coming. I think tomorrow's got to be the windiest of all days. So I've actually picked the right day to do this. But like I say, there isn't many things to do around the area in the Black Country because a lot of things are really muddy at the moment. You can just sort of see what I mean. I mean, this brook has actually rised for the amount of rain what we've had. I think it's actually lower than this at times. And that's actually why that path over there is actually flooded, because there is like a little another stream thing just behind these trees. Let's go and see what's further on. So I've got Google Maps up. Sheldon Country Park and Old Rectory Farm is actually sort of similar to what's on the Sandwell Valley Park, where you've got all the animals and several bits and pieces. I think what I might do is cover that in a separate video and come back when the weather is really nicer. I'm going to see if there's any history or information around the outskirts of the airport, which is really interesting. Located at the far eastern edge of the city, the park covers an area just over 300 acres of grassland, wetland, hedgerows and mature woodland. A small dairy farm dating from the 17th century, the Old Rectory is located near the main entrance. The farm was owned to the celebrated clergyman Thomas Bray between 1690 and 1721. The park's other attractions include 3 football pitches, a children's play area and a viewing platform for the nearby Birmingham International Airport. Park rangers are also able to provide guided tours of the park. So right, I've actually turned around. The footpath leading north way down to the Old Rectory Farm, just where you cross over a road, is actually flooded like the other section. I don't really want to walk over that and get my feet absolutely soaking wet than what they are, so I'm going to sort of let them dry out now. Because I'm staying here for another 4 hours, so I don't want to really be cold and all soaked. So what I'm going to do is come here when it's warmer and we'll cover a secondary video on Sheldon Country Park all the way down towards the Old Rectory Farm. And we can check out the church if it's open, so it will definitely be in addition to the video. But what we're doing now, let's go and explore this side one more time and let's go and see where we end up, and then we'll go all the way back to the viewing point and get some stunning views of the planes taking off and also landing. So right, here we are, the final section of the video, just waiting for planes to come back and forth now. Could take several hours, it could take 20 minutes. But I mean, the view right away in front is really amazing to see the airport, how the runway goes right away to the bottom. I can hear some planes at the moment, so I don't know if there's any planes coming in, but I'm going to get flight radar back up, get my camera out and do some cracking photos and zoom in cinematics. So let's see what planes we can see, it's going to be really interesting. I tell you what, I've been here for about an hour so far and I'm really enjoying this. I mean, the first time coming here to see what it's all about, because a lot of people come to the airport viewing point. But wow, the amount of planes that pass, I thought, you know what, it will take hours for planes to come. It's been literally every like 10 minutes or so, or 5 minutes. Got another one coming in right away now, just in front. If I carefully zoom in, check out this. Wow, look at that for a view. I tell you what, this is what I mean. You can spend hours here just watching the planes land at the airport just onto the runway. I mean, you can see right away in front of me this plane landing now. I mean, look at the smoke off the tyres, it's absolutely crazy. What a view, and this is actually Sheldon Country Park. Come down to here if you've never been. You can spend literally a 4-day, bring your family, bring your kids, just an absolute perfect day outdoors this is. Wonderful. So I think what I'm going to do now is head around the rest of the park and let's go and head home. Got a long journey back to Birmingham, then to Hell's. Wow, what an experience seeing all the planes landed on Birmingham Airport, several bits and pieces over to there. But this country park is really stunning. You can hear the sounds of nature moving away from where the planes are. But this place is so huge. We've actually got the brook what runs all the way through here, and we've got a bridge. I'll quickly show you this section, it's really nice to see. Look at the scale of this place though, it's absolutely huge. You can sort of see the brook what leads all the way to the runway, then tunnels right away underneath. It is very clear in there, you can sort of see. You can imagine there's all different bits and pieces of wildlife, insects, different things. Can just see some rubbish into there. I mean, walking all the way down for where you come into the place, I did see quite a lot of fly tippings in the edge, which is not that good. But it makes you wonder where some of these paths even lead to, like this one up there, what goes to the other side of the airport. But next time I come here to check out the planes and also view from the side of the airport, I'll walk all the way around that way and see where we end up. But what an experience. What I'm going to do now is walk that path all the way down where it goes under that little train bridge. Got a Ryanair plane now. So the second I leave, another plane comes down. It's just really insane. It's definitely worth revisiting this place, and if you love your planes, drop it in the comments, I will come back. Like myself, I'm really interested. I can sit there for hours and take tons of stunning photos and cinematics of all the different planes landing. But like I say, quite a lot of the planes are the same, like you've seen the Ryanair, different bits and pieces. But to spot the Emirates plane, especially being here for that many hours, that is definitely a lucky one. That's actually what I come for today, one of the biggest planes, which is the Emirates. And it's huge. When that landed, the scale of it, wow. What a sight to see that. I mean, I could have been here for hours and probably not spotted it, but it was just that luck. But wow, what a view of the brook right away in front, and also the railway bridge. I'll tell you what, I do love my railways. I'm actually going to cover soon the Severn Valley Railway. I think it's Taunton, where the railway leads up and then comes to an end into Stourport. So there is another section what I've not covered onto that. And you see one more time a view of the brook right away here. Really interesting. But see you soon. Thank you very much for watching the Midlands Outdoors Out, and definitely stay tuned for more videos. Going to get back out next week, more exploring the Black Country and several bits and pieces. Because of it's been really busy today. There's a lot of kids around, a lot of people. I've had to do a lot of cutting here and there, so I can't wait to get back out. But what an experience from the Black Country to Birmingham and seeing different things. Hope you've enjoyed this one. See you soon. Midlands Outdoors Out.